The one cool thing about Trump being in office is I have been taken back to my childhood. Somebody tweeted out that he will be holding a meeting with video game producers about violence in video games and how that contributes to violence in children. This is when I was a kid, the music industry and the video game industry and the movie industry came under fire for the the graphic imagery, which was funny because video games when I was a young kid, when it happened in the 90s, it's almost like we're back in the Clinton era or the George H.W. Bush era. What was so funny is the graphics weren't really all that great, but they were fun. But I think the games back then were better, although they weren't quite as good as Atari because they were more. There was more to the game. Now it's just kill, 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 kill. I'll admit that, but if you think video games are turning kids into killers, you're really inept. The real question I think that never ever comes up is why is he not holding a meeting with pharmaceutical companies and asking why psychiatric medications make people homicidal and suicidal? Or in the case of Columbine, which is the end all be all as far as these things are concerned, both. Now, the thing is, some people might say, well, okay, these kids, people need more mental health care. That's what they always say. People need more mental health. These mass shooters are under the care of psychiatrists, therapists, yada, yada, yada. At the very least, the question that needs to be asked, like I said in the previous video, is why don't these things work? Clearly the therapy and the psychiatry ain't working, or these kids wouldn't be doing, and adults in this case now, with people like Christopher Dorner and all these people would not be doing what they're doing if this stuff worked. Clearly. Okay? And the other thing is, with the music industry and the movie industry and all this, I don't like the music industry or the movie industry, and I do believe that they promote degeneracy. I also happen to like a little degenerate music when I feel like it. I don't care for movies, I prefer documentaries, but my point is this. This is a First Amendment issue that really needs to be looked at. The thing is, these people that call themselves constitutionalists and conservatives, etc., 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 if it's a conservative trying to smash the music industry, everybody's all for it. If it's a liberal, the conservatives aren't for it, but the liberals are for it. You have to understand, neither the so-called conservatives or the so-called liberals are conservative or liberal. They are for their people, and that's it. But what's most important is this. Trump is not a conservative, of course, but what's most important to remember is that freedom of expression is the most important freedom. And it does need to be reined in when there's commissions of crimes taking place, but making music is not a crime. Making a movie is not a crime. And I highly doubt that these things are contributing as much as people would like to think they are to the criminal element, okay? And the thing that also comes to mind is this. They will talk about these nonsensical mass shootings and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, inner city crime. Bring it up. Bring up inner city crime, Mr. Trump. Bring it up. Bring up the fact that the people that are doing the most killing are not illegal Mexicans. They're not MS-13. They're not Hispanics. They're not white supremacists. They're not any of these groups. They're not Islamic whatever. The people that are killing people in the United States are urban folk. And I'm going to say it like that. Urban is synonymous with a specific racial grouping that comes from sub-Saharan Africa. Use your brain, people. They're not talking about a specific group and throwing everybody else under the bus to distract from that one group. The other group you'll never hear about is Israel. You'll never hear about Israel. You'll never hear about Zionism. And you'll never hear about the role. If you want to talk about the music industry and the movie industry, why don't you talk about the people running them? That ain't going to happen either.